Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Around the Table GTA. So today's topic is going to be about disappointment. The next couple of themes are going to be a little bit more serious, kind of a little bit of a darker turn to things. I think it's mainly due to what I've been dealing with as well, and kind of um, getting a little bit burnt out, I guess. It happens to everyone, right? Even myself. Even when you want to be happy, positive, whatever, you can't always be happy. You can't always be sad. Um, Either way, you have to get through it, right? It's funny enough. A couple of weeks ago, I saw an article on TV, and they were talking about toxic positivity, which I found hilarious because some people don't realize that not everyone wants to deal with happy people all the time, right? It's sometimes kind of annoying, honestly, right? So, getting into it, um, yeah, this weekend I was really disappointed. There was multiple times that I was disappointed. I got so angry that I ended up doing a bunch of things that I didn't even necessarily need to do because I didn't want to think about something. Um, and that's because I was disappointed. It's not even in myself completely, but that's how disappointment goes, right? Disappointment, it kind of falters, and I'm going to be talking about a lot of negative things. I won't say a lot of negative things, sorry. Certain things that people don't want to deal with. They're not necessarily negative, but they're things that we all go through, right? Even the happiest people we know are going through hard things or have gone through hard things. There's someone who's very motivational to me, someone who I've only seen upset twice in my entire life, and I've known this person basically for 25 years. And I found out that um, the stress of their work was so rough on them that they were actually on antidepressants, right? So, uh, it's life could be hard. Things could be hard. Yeah, you'll notice the change of tone in my voice with certain topics because uh, I could say that I am an emotional person. I really feel about the things that I talk about, right? So there's a certain level of genuineness when I talk about things because I'm 100% real about it, right? Disappointment comes through a lot of things, right? Um, for me, a lot of the time when I'm disappointed is because of my high expectations. There's certain things, especially like at my workplace or even dealing with certain people, I'm usually expecting people to be at their best. Uh, I'm expecting people to be as serious as I am, right? And you have to remember that not everyone's going to be on the same frequency as you, right? Uh, they're not always going to be as passionate as you are, right? So sometimes having high expectations is going to lead you to disappointment, and you have to reevaluate that sometimes, right? Um, Everyone has their own set of skills. Everyone has done different things, and certain people can only go so far, people so far, right? So I wouldn't say lower your expectations, but you have to remember that not everyone is as into whatever you're doing as you are. Some people actually might be more into it than you are as well. Um, Sometimes you get disappointed because, you know, it's people falling through, right? Um, I've been doing so much with my podcast, and I have a very small audience, but I'm happy that I have a consistent small audience. Shout out to Dalton. Shout out to Theo. Shout out to Options. You guys helped me to continue on, right? It gets tough, especially, like I said, with podcasting, even like streaming. It's hard to talk to no one and continue to talk, because you don't really know how people are reacting. You can't see it, right? It's kind of like the loneliness you get through texting. Like, you're happy, but it's not the same feeling as being there with someone. It's not even the same feeling as talking to someone on the phone, right? You're just, you can't even read or feel the emotion in it, right? And that's something that sometimes disappoints me as well, right? Recently, something I wanted came, and it's not what I expected, right? I've been waiting for this for so long, and now it's a scenario where it's just upsetting, right? And I still have to deal with it, right? But I put so much expectation, so much hype, so much focus on it, and the reality of the situation is not the reality that came to pass, right? Sometimes you get disappointed because you're always expecting the worst, right? Recently at work, I've had a lot of people coming to me with complaints, and I'm the type of person that, I try to solve an issue, right? So a lot of people come with me with their questions. People will go from different areas to come talk with me because I'm the one who's most likely going to deal with it the fastest or the soonest, because that's just how I am. That's how I like to deal with things. I like to get it over with if it's possible, right? You'll hear that in another episode. You might have heard it in a recent episode. I don't know how I'm going to order these episodes. You could tell by the tone of voice I'm disappointed. I'm a little bit agitated, but I think it helps with this episode because we are talking about disappointment. But it's a part of life. It's a natural part of life. And once you start dealing with certain people, even caliber of people as well, you could change your expectations of people, right? Like, a majority of my friends know that if they're going to come pick me up, right, if you're going to come grab me, I'm going to take an extra 5 minutes, right? So whether you call me 10 minutes before you come, or 50 minutes before you come, or 3 hours before you come, somehow I will take 3 hours and 10 minutes to get ready. Right? Because they have an expectation of you. You have an expectation of them. Right? So this is how disappointment falls through. Right? Even the last decade of parties and events in my friend group, it was between me and another friend, and we planned maybe 95% of the parties, right? And I love party planning, but at the same time, I hate party planning, because if I have my party and it's not the way that I want it to be, I'm going to be sulking half the party because it didn't turn out how I expected. And then by the end of the party, I'll be better, or, I've had some fun, so I completely forget about it. And then afterwards, everyone tells me how awesome the party was. But at the moment, or during the time, at least the beginning, I'm upset because it's not going the way that I wanted, right? So you definitely have to reevaluate your expectations of a lot of things, and you'll be happier, right? It's not like devaluing yourself to lower a standard or expectation, but it's giving that room for error that everyone has. Nobody's perfect, right? People will let you down. You're not perfect either. Sometimes someone will really mess up, right? And you're going to be disappointed. Like, I woke up today and I got some pretty disappointing news, and I have to deal with that person later on. And I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed, and it doesn't matter how much you could warn someone, it doesn't matter how much prep time you have, plans will fall through, right? So, on the brighter side of this topic, it's not always your fault, right? You're going to be disappointed sometimes. Sometimes it is you, right? Sometimes you're sad, maybe you're depressed, maybe life's just treating you like trash. Maybe you just woke up on the wrong side of bed, or you have a case of the Mondays, right? But either way, you have to keep going, right? If everything turned out perfectly, I don't even know how this world would be, right? Because imagine everyone had their dreams fulfilled, right? Everyone's so unique, and they have their own plans for the world and how they see the world. So that would be complete and utter chaos. So who knows, right? And sometimes what you're asking for, like I said, I waited for something, came, and it's not what I expected. What do you expect of it? And it's kind of trash, right? Either way, whatever you're planning, whatever you're disappointed about, whatever you're going through, it'll pay off in the end, right? Because not everyone you encounter is trying to follow the path that you're making, right? Just how life is, just how things are. Not everyone can be a leader, right? Sometimes you're not supposed to be a leader. Sometimes you're supposed to be, an assistant, or a follower, or, a spectator, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's different times for everything in life. So we need to remember that there's always the highs and the lows, right? Sometimes the start of a year is trash and the rest of your year is amazing, right? 6 months is a long time. 30 days is a long time. Sometimes even a week is a long time. It all depends what you're going through. So you have to make sure that whatever you're trying to achieve, it's really worth your time. It's really worth your effort. Sometimes things take longer than planned. Sometimes it's not what is for you, right? And everything happens for a reason, right? And sometimes when you fail or your plans don't go through, it makes you a stronger person. It makes you a better person. It gives you insight so that when you make a new plan, it'll be even better. But you have to remember that even if you have no one, when you get to the end, more people will join you for your next adventure, right? So you could be doing it alone. You could start off by being alone, right? The more passionate you are about whatever your goal is, the effort that you put in, it'll eventually pay off, right? Whether you're an artist, whether you're studying to become like a lawyer or something, maybe you're doing marketing, maybe you're doing the stock market, right? You don't always see how you're winning till later on, right? Sometimes the wins don't come as fast, right? Just to do another analogy before I go. Wow, this one's a short one, but I don't want to stay disappointed, so I don't want to stay on the topic for too long, right? That's another thing. When you are upset about anything, the more you think about it, the more you will stay in that mood, right? I was disappointed this weekend, so I just went for a run, but I was like really disappointed. I was disappointed and I was angry, and I used that as fuel to break a running record of mine that I haven't had in like 6 years. That's how upset I was. I was just like, I hate everything. Oh man, yeah, like I was like in mid 2000s emo mode, right? But that's just how it is, right? If even if you look at like YouTubers or certain celebrities, they did so much by themselves for so long, and then they finally made it, right? And even if you look in the animal kingdom, right, you could see a caterpillar. See how fast a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, right? But that transformation happens so quickly and then it dies, right? So you see the glow up, the grow up, the change. It's nice and flashy, but it dies down, right? It's like a burning flame from a match. It's not the same as like a forest fire. You kind of want to be a forest fire, as crazy as a forest fire is, right? Because that's something that's grand. That's something that, it lasts for a while. And if it's like the forest fire like last year, it could be deadly, right? So you have to think like that. Or even a cactus. You could water a cactus. I think it's like 14 years before you'll get a flower from a cactus, which is crazy, right? It's even in the stock market, right? You're not always going to see your gains, right? But if you continue to invest, you can make a lot more money. But if you put money more into riskier stocks that go up and down all the time, yeah, you'll see the money, but it'll disappear real quick as well. So hopefully you guys like this episode. If you're disappointed, talk to me, talk to someone, do something to help you get out of that rut, right? It's nice and sunny outside, at least on this side of the planet. Go for a walk. Recently I've been like running with no music and everyone's calling me crazy, but it helps me with my thoughts, and it's something different, right? I'm gonna get headphones soon. But I've been running around for maybe a month and a half with no music. So maybe when I want to try to break a record, I'll see. But you got to change your environment every once in a while, and that will keep you from being disappointed. So hopefully you guys like this episode. You could go through it again. Remember, disappointment, it's not always your fault. It'll pay off in the end. Keep going. Whatever you're doing, keep going. Plan it out. You have to watch how your expectations are, right? If you have high expectations, find people who also have high expectations. Change your network. Get people who are as serious as you, right? If it's too much work, get someone else to do it if you could afford it, right? Or find someone who's just as passionate. Get them a cut, right? I'm working 2 jobs and doing this too, and you have to be serious to get through all of this, right? You're going to be disappointed, you're going to be tired, but either way, it's an excuse, right? That's not to shame people who can't deal with stress as well as I can, but it's something that you learn and something you have to get through if you want to achieve certain goals faster, right? Just because your friends are doing better now doesn't mean you won't be doing better later, or it doesn't mean they won't be doing as well later as well, right? Some people make or frame their life to look a lot better than it is. That's how the internet culture has been, and it's kind of left a lot of people disappointed and discouraged. Let's try to beat that wave, guys and ladies, whatever you identify as. Let's try to do better for ourselves and the people that we're around. Let's be less disappointed, and let's get some results. And so it'd really help if you guys shared the video. It'd really help if you guys left some comments, just so the algorithm will get better. There's some things that I've been avoiding and I still need to get done. So I'm going to wrap up this episode and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you.